Clint, we've heard a lot of players connected with the Texans, and the one to me, I don't think he's going to be a bad football player. I think he's going to be a good football player. I think he's going to play a lot of years in the NFL. I just think for what this team needs, and to me, what you should look for in a first-round pick, a top 25 pick at wide receiver, I just don't think the Ohio State wide receiver, Emeka Egbuka, I don't believe like that's what you go for. Excuse me, God. I don't believe that's what you go for when it comes to a top 25 pick. I don't believe that's what you go for when you're looking for a starting caliber wide receiver that you want to, I would think, on this team, get speed and open things up. And when you look at what they say are his maybe weaknesses or things that could potentially give him issues at the next level, I just don't think that's the type of receiver that the Texans probably need right now. In this average quickness and separation in and out of breaks, struggles to drop weight and open quickly on cornerbacks. Speed appears average in drive phase of the route. Takes time to find acceleration after slowing feet inside the route on receiver screens. Things to me, I just feel like they need an outside threat that could really, hell, I'm not even going to say put fear yet, but give some concern to the defense that you might go past us or you have speed. I just think this to me, you get guys like this in the second or third rounds, I get that. I think for me though, even though he has a lot of those swarm qualities that they love and they're looking for, leadership is one of his big strengths, and how he helps other teammates and stuff like that. Reliability, good hands. Like, he's got some strengths. But to me, for this team, and when you talk about first round, I that's not enough for me.
Yeah, look, I've said this a million times over the last couple of months, man. When it comes to the draft, when it comes to free agency, they didn't really accomplish this in free agency, but there's a real problem of speed, a need for speed on this offense, and they went through free agency and they added Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk's got some twitch and some speed from the slot position, and I believe he can get over the top of defenses, kind of thing. But I don't know that defenses walk up and go, oh hell, Christian Kirk is on this offense. We better look out. I don't feel like teams look at Nico Collins as that. Now they focus on Nico Collins. They tilt the coverage of Nico Collins. They give Nico Collins all the due respect. But I don't know that Nico's necessarily that guy. I'm just going to beat you over the top if you blink, if you even peek in the backfield. So with that said, I look at this team with the Texans. If one of their first round or second round pick, really anywhere that they draft guys that are going to be offensive skilled players, I think their weakness does not need to be. The one thing that they surefire better have is speed, twitch, explosiveness, the ability to separate. Hey, if you don't necessarily have the best hands in traffic, cool. If you don't necessarily aren't the most polished guy and you come back to the ball every time, or you run out of your breaks, or you give up on routes, okay, that we can work on and we can work through. I think speed needs to be the absolute must when you're drafting.
But you can't teach that or change that.
You can't cheat. You can't. You're damn right. You can't coach it. That's for damn sure. And so I just more so than a good, well-rounded receiver that can play slot and inside, that blocks well. You've got plenty of those guys that can block well, that can see defenses well, that have been in the league, and you got plenty of guys that are developmental kind of guys. I just think the one thing you lack across the board, there's not a guy on this offense. And let's say not name Nico Collins. Let's give Nico his due respect, because I do think he's got the speed. I just think he's used differently. There's not a guy on this offense that you come into the game and you go, man, this cat right here got some wheels. Look out now. Let this guy get in open field if you want to. He's going to chew you up. Like, you don't have that guy. Not saying you don't have really good players. Not saying you don't have specific players that have certain skill sets that you can win with, but you just don't. Your tight end ain't running away from nobody. Right? Your running back ain't running away from nobody. Your receiving core overall lacks speed, no doubt about it. To me, to draft a guy with a premium draft pick, first, second round, that has suspect speed. Yep. That would not be ideal for me for the Houston Texans.
No, especially right now. I like if they had, two speed guys on the edge. If they had two guys with good speed. Hell, if Tank was still here.
Yeah.
Right. If they had Tank and they had Nico and Tank was there and you knew he was going to be there, and you said, "Hey man, this guy would fit in perfect in the middle as a slot guy for us." When you have the two guys on the edge, we can use him as a reliable guy. But no, you went and spent $16 million to get a guy that has more twitch and speed, you got the guys on the outside to take that. This team, and we talked about it, is in desperate need of that.
Yeah, and this is where we talked about it yesterday. This is where the guy that fits in Houston, man, that is just team first, and he's a Nick Caserio, D'Amico Ryans kind of guy, and he fits. This is where leaning so heavily into that can bite you in the ass, because right now you've got plenty of those guys. You've got those guys in every position room. Right now, there are a couple of needs, man, that I personally would like to see them address a certain way, and that skill position is one of them.
Here, from the Jim Adler, the Texas Hammer text line, to us, I believe, do yourself a favor and look at the rookie wide receivers and the developing wide receivers that excel the best. It's not about twitch. It's not about speed. It's about adequate speed and explosiveness, and more importantly, it's about route running. You want a polished route runner. The Ohio State kid would pair well with Nico. Everyone falls in love with speed. And go look at the fastest wide receivers in the draft over the past 10 years and find me more than 20% of them that make difference.
Todd. Draft expert. Chill out, bro. Chill out.
You want it or you got it?
Well, no, I mean, there's a lot there. There is a lot there. I mean, there's a lot of receivers that are big body receivers that are polished route runners that are this or that fell in the league. A lot of people fell in the league. Very few people come out and just balls to the wall are lights out wide receivers in the league. The one thing that you can damn sure hang your hat on in the league is speed. The one thing that if you're like Egbuka, if you don't have adequate speed and burst in your stems, NFL DBs are never going to come out of their pedal. They're going to sit on every route that you have.
Tyreek Hill is still not a polished route runner.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's just so. Look, I'm not saying the kid's not going to be great, but it's not as easy.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that you don't have examples. Yes, the kid from the Bengals drafted up real early from Washington. I forgot the
John Ross.
John Ross. There's some examples of that, but like last year with the Chiefs, like Xavier Worthy wasn't polished, but he just did things that there was fear. Like
Nico Collins wasn't polished.
No, and I'm not. And what it seems like you're doing is the texture is like you're putting it all in a box. Like no, there aren't guys. There are guys who have speed that didn't amount to nothing, like you said, and there are guys who are supposedly polished route runners. Charles Rogers is one that comes to mind that didn't amount to anything. Right? I'm not saying that it's a guarantee you get somebody with speed that it works. For me, though, if I am drafting at 25 and I've just spent $16 million on a slot receiver, I'm trying to know talent. The talent that you hope that really like gives you a chance to have a big time receiver.
Yeah. Yeah, no, look, I mean, I'd like a polished receiver. I'd like a speed guy.
I'd like
them all together.
Give me
it all. Great hands, polished, great route runner. The reality of it is, all I'm saying is, if they're going to draft a receiver or any skill player with a premium draft pick on this team, built as it is, I would prefer that guy's weakness to in no way, shape, or form mention speed. If you're going to have 5 bullets of weaknesses, which they all do, none of them are perfect, I would prefer a guy that doesn't have that. That's it. That doesn't mention speed and acceleration and twitch that, in his weaknesses. I would prefer
or guys we watched on the tape where linebackers have run him down, or struggling separation with Western Michigan and Marsh. Like, I think he's going to be a good player. I just don't think that's
And by the way, if we're talking about tangible, I would argue that twitch and speed are the two most important as it pertains to being successful in the league. If you don't have either, your ass is in trouble.
It'd be smart as hell.
Whew.